Hey there, young writers. Welcome to our explainer today. We are going on a really special mission to transform the way you write, making your sentences smooth, exciting, and incredibly professional. If you've ever felt like your stories are just a little bit bumpy, or maybe they have that stop-and-go feeling, well, you are in the exact right place. Let's dive right in. So here is our mission briefing for today. First up, we're going to meet our grammar heroes, the super connectors. Then we'll decode a pretty funny word called fanboys. After that, we'll dive deep into two specific heroes, the reason hero, FOR, and the addition hero, AND. We're also going to put on our detective hats to fix some common mistakes, and finally, wrap it all up with a quick, fun fanboys quiz. All right, let's jump right into our very first mission, meeting the super connectors. We're going to learn exactly how to take our sentences from choppy to beautifully smooth. Have you ever read a story that just goes, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I ate breakfast, I packed my bag? Did you ever wonder why that sounds so bumpy to read? I mean, the sentences are perfectly correct, but they feel like separate puzzle pieces that just haven't been pushed together yet. It kind of lacks that nice, smooth flow. Notice how that first way, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, feels totally broken. But when we add a magic word like and, it becomes I woke up and brushed my teeth. It beautifully bridges those two ideas together. Suddenly, it sounds way more natural, it's shorter, and honestly, it's just a lot more fun to read. So what is a connector exactly? Well, think of it literally like a strong bridge across a river. Imagine you've got two sides of a river, right? Without a bridge, people just can't cross. In your writing, joining one idea to another ensures your reader can cross smoothly from one thought to the next. That's exactly why these tiny little words are sometimes called the bridges of language. Without them, your writing is broken. With them, your ideas flow perfectly.
Okay, it is time to meet a very famous team of 7 superhero connectors. These guys are the ultimate defenders of smooth writing.
To remember them all, we use a really funny memory trick. FANBOYS. It's an acronym, meaning every single letter stands for a superhero with a special job to save your sentences. F stands for, which gives a reason. A is for and, adding another idea. N is for nor, continuing a negative. B is for but, showing contrast. O is for or, giving a choice. Y is for yet, showing a surprise. And S is for so, showing a result. Whenever your writing needs a little help, one of these 7 heroes is always waiting to come to the rescue. Let's zoom right in on our very first superhero of the day, the reason hero, FOR. I want you to think of this connector as a brilliant detective who's always walking around, looking for clues and asking, why? Great writers don't just guess which word to use. They actually think about how their ideas are connected. So whenever you're writing, I want you to use this simple decision tree. Just ask yourself, am I explaining why something happened? If the answer is yes, if you are giving a reason for an action, you need to call in FOR. Watch how we build this out step by step. In step 1, we have our action. Ava opened her umbrella. In step 2, we have the reason she did it. It was raining. In step 3, we glue these two complete ideas together with our hero FOR, plus a handy little comma right before it. Ava opened her umbrella, for it was raining. Doesn't that sound incredibly smooth and smart? Now here's a really interesting secret. For and because actually do the exact same job. They both give a reason. But for is kind of like the fancy, formal cousin you'll see in classic storybooks, beautiful poems, and famous speeches. You'll probably use because when you're just chatting with your friends on the playground, but using for in your writing, that makes you sound like a true advanced author. You've got to be careful not to mix up your heroes, though. Sometimes writers confuse for and so. Remember, for tells us the reason why we did something. I wore a jacket, for it was cold. So, on the other hand, tells us the result of what happened. It was cold, so I wore a jacket. They handle the exact same situation, just in reverse. So always make sure you're using the right hero for the job.
Okay, let's move on to our next superhero, the one carrying a giant backpack, the addition hero, and this hero's absolute favorite catchphrase is, let's add one more.
Bring out that decision tree again. When you're writing, pause and ask yourself, am I adding another idea, another person, or maybe another action to my sentence? If you are packing more things into your sentence backpack, and is the exact connector you need. See how easily and packs our sentences together? Without it, we'd be stuck saying, I packed my English book. I packed my maths book. It's just so repetitive. But taking two separate books and joining them smoothly into one single neat sentence is super easy for our hero. I packed my English book and my maths book. One tiny word joins all your ideas together perfectly. But hey, be careful not to confuse these heroes either. And adds similar ideas together. It connects things that belong together happily, like Emma sings and dances. But if the second idea is a surprising opposite or a contrast to the first, we can't use and. We have to call on but. You wouldn't say, I wanted to play and it rained, because the rain actually stopped you from playing, right? It's, I wanted to play, but it rained. All right, grab your detective magnifying glasses because it is time for fixing common mistakes. Look, even the absolute best writers slip up sometimes, so we're going to learn how to spot and fix these errors like pros. A super common beginner mistake is putting a full stop right before and. Remember, our connectors are bridges. If you put a full stop there, you've literally broken the bridge. Instead, use it as glue. I like apples and oranges. Now, here are a few more quick mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 2. Don't start every single sentence in your story with and. Mistake 3. Forgetting your comma before for when you're joining two full sentences. And mistake 4, definitely don't use and to connect 10 different ideas into one giant, never-ending run-on sentence. Let's look at a 5th mistake, using way too many short sentences, like Sam plays football, Sam plays tennis. Let our hero and do the heavy lifting here. Sam plays football and tennis. Now for 5 more rapid-fire mistakes to round out our top 10. Number 6 is mixing up for with because when you're trying to sound formal. Number 7 is using but when you actually just meant and. 8 is accidentally putting commas after the connector instead of before it. 9 is forgetting that for actually needs a complete thought after it. And finally, mistake 10 is using and when you should really use or to give a choice. Be a super careful detective with these, okay? You have trained so hard today, young writers, and now it's time to test your super skills with the FANBOYS Quick Quiz. Let's see if you can choose the correct hero to save these sentences. Listen to this sentence, and I want you to literally shout out the answer at the screen. I stayed indoors, blank, it was raining. Which connector goes here? Are we simply adding an idea to a backpack, or are we being a detective and explaining why we stayed indoors? That's right, we are giving a reason. So the answer is for. I stayed indoors, for it was raining. Amazing job. Okay, how about this one? Emma likes reading, blank, painting. Which superhero backpack word adds these two fun hobbies together? Well, we definitely aren't giving a reason here. We're saying, let's add one more. So the answer has to be and. Emma likes reading and painting. You guys are crushing this. Let's do a really quick rapid revision of everything we covered today. Connectors are strong bridges that keep our ideas flowing smoothly. FANBOYS is our super team of 7 coordinating conjunctions. Our first hero, for, explains the reason why something happened. And our second hero, and, packs our sentence backpack by adding more information and saying, +1. Before I let you go, here is your final mission. I want you to grab a notebook and try this awesome writing challenge. Write a 5-sentence paragraph about your absolute favorite day. Maybe it was your birthday or a really great football match. Use the word and 3 times to join your ideas and use the word for once to explain a reason. I guarantee your writing will sound amazingly smooth and professional. So, as you look at the world around you today, ask yourself, how many broken ideas can you build bridges for using our 7 superhero connectors? Have so much fun writing, and I'll see you next time.